Hi, I'm Sahil. I work as a program manager at Office 365 Groups team, where I take care of guest access in Outlook.
Hello everyone, I'm Monica. I work as a software engineer.
Is your, excuse me? This mic is over. It's still not working.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. Can you just slightly increase the volume?
It should be good now.
Hi everyone, I'm Monica. I work as a software engineer in Office 365 Groups team.
Okay. So first of all, thanks to all of you for coming over here and taking out your time. In next 20 minutes, we want to make sure that you all learn about guest access in Outlook and the policies which you can use to control guest access in your organization.
Also, we'll be demoing some of these policies and we'll tell you about other advanced policies which you can use to control guest access in your organization. We'll also be telling you about some advanced session which you should definitely go and learn more about guest access in coming days. So let's get started.
So this is something that we've been hearing a lot today, starting from Satya's keynote to various groups and team session, that teamwork is changing. It is getting more and more global, and it involves people who are outside your organization. In fact, as per statistics, 43% of American workforce is made up of contingent workforce. That means these are the people who are outside your organization and they work with multiple companies at the same time.
Another insight here is that today workforce is getting more and more young people, and these are the people who use consumer apps in their day-to-day lives. And we did a survey before Ignite and we found that 56% of these people agreed that they won't mind using any shadow IT tools if their task was not accomplished by IT approved technologies, which is a scary number.
The good news is that we at Microsoft have solution to both of these problems. Guest access in Outlook let you collaborate with external people in a very simple and seamless way.
And our IT admin policies make it more safe and secure.
So before we get into this guest access in Outlook, how many of you know about guest access in Outlook and are using guest access Outlook in your organization? Okay, so for others, I would just quickly tell you what exactly guest user is. A guest user is a user who is outside your organization. It could be a contract worker, it could be a vendor, or it could be another partner in a different company, and it could even mean your friends and family if you have a social group in your organization. We've released guest access in Outlook Web last fall, and today millions of people use guest access for plethora of scenarios. Starting from parent-teacher collaboration in EDU, working with partners in different companies and subsidiaries, and even working with independent contractor and contingent workers. Guest access is used almost everywhere. With the universal identity of email, you can literally collaborate with any user on this planet using their email address, which is, by the way, half of the world population. And on the other side, guest user can collaborate from any email app or browser without any need to install app or client. I'll repeat this again, without any need to install app or any client.
And just to give you a slight overview of the architecture of guest access in groups, when you add a guest in Outlook groups, be it a business user from some other organization or any other 3.7 billion email addresses available out there, whenever you add a guest, it actually gets created as an object in Azure Active Directory. And all other Microsoft apps like SharePoint, OneDrive for Business, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Project, all these apps which are built upon a B2B platform will work seamlessly with these guest users. So now Sahil will give you a quick demo of guest access in Outlook.
So thanks, Monica. Let me just switch screens. So I'm going to demo guest access in Outlook mobile app. So this is something that is work in progress, and whatever you're going to see now is fresh out of oven. So I hope demo gods are with us. Are you able to see the screen? Okay, cool. So I'm signed in as Christy. She's the marketing manager for one of the Fortune 500 companies, and she's collaborating with an external independent contractor for her marketing campaign, poster designs and graphics. Christy signs in her Outlook mobile app. She sees groups in the left nav. She clicks on the groups and then she sees the list of groups that she is member of. She selects one of the groups where she wants to add this guest user. She clicks and then she types Branda. So you can see she's been collaborating Branda frequently, and that could come as her suggestion. And the moment she selects Branda, she gets this info warning that she's about to add guests to this group and they'll have access to resources, and then this guest is added. You can see Branda as the member list. She goes to the group and create a meeting invite. Selects, let's set it on Thursday. And then she sends this meeting invite. Let's get back to the view that the guest user will see. Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Cool. Okay. So as you can see, Branda has received a welcome email which contains all the relevant information that she needs to collaborate with this group. She can access files, she can have conversation with the group. So let's click on this access file. So usually a guest user goes through a two-step redeem process, which is nothing but basically a contract between the organization that you can access resources, and also if you are a non-Outlook user, you need to create a simple password, which is a two-step thing. So for this demo, I already have an MSA account which I can use to access resources. Okay. And oops, let me just try this thing again. Okay, let me just go back and try this another group. So you can see Branda is able to access the SharePoint, and she's already signed in as a guest user. She can do all the collaboration stuff that she can do on SharePoint. She can upload a file, she can do co-authoring, she can do exactly a regular user can do through SharePoint. You'll also see that Branda has received this calendar invite which she can add to her personal calendar so that she receives notifications, reminder, etc. And she can even reply to the group. You can also see that for every conversation she receives a footer which contains again all the relevant information that she needs to collaborate with the group. So this is how she can collaborate. So you've seen now how simple it was for Christy and Branda to collaborate outside organization in a very simple and seamless way. This is the power of guest access, and that's why so many organizations are using it. Now you've seen the power of guest access as an end user. I would like to call Monica to demo the controls that IT admin has to manage guest access in an organization in a safe way. So yeah.
Thank you, Sahil. So before I start talking about IT admin policies, I would like to thank you all who have been using guest access this past year, and they have given us great feedback. But if you are an IT admin and you are still concerned about enabling guest access in your organization, I would like to tell you that we have tons of policies in place which you can customize according to your business needs to control guest access in groups. So as you can see in this slide, there are two extremes. One, where guest access is disabled in your organization. So users in your organizations won't be able to collaborate with any external people. The other one is the default one, where guest access is enabled by default in your tenant. But the most interesting part in this slide is what lies in between. As you can see, there are 4 blocks, and these 4 blocks are 4 levels of policies and controls which you have to control guest access. So the first one is the inviter level. So you can select some people in your organization and assign them guest inviter role. and only those people will be able to invite new guests in your tenant. The second one is the domain level policy, which is allow block list. So you can specify a list of allowed domains or blocked domains in your organization, and only users from those domains will either be allowed or blocked to be added as guests. The third one is the group level policy, where you can configure allow to add guest setting on a per group basis. The fourth one is the IT managed policy, where only IT admins will be able to add new guests. So whenever you think about these policies, just think in two terms: who can be invited in your tenants and who will be able to invite. And you will be able to configure all these policies according to your business needs. So now I would like to go deeper into some of these blocks and will show you how easy it is to configure these policies for your organization. So the first one which I want to talk about is the guest inviter role policy. As I said, you can select any person in your organization and assign them the guest inviter role. And it can be based on their job designation, job profile, for that matter, based on any AD property. You can select these people. For example, in this PowerShell script, the first part of the script is getting all the users who have job title manager. And the second part is actually assigning them the guest inviter role using add MSOL role member commandlet. So even with this simple script, you can assign the users the guest inviter role. And then you need to go to the Azure portal and turn off these two switches, which is members can invite and guests can invite. Once you do that, this policy will take into effect. So in our demo tenant, we have already configured this policy. So only managers in this organization should be able to invite new guests. So let's see how would be the end user experience in this case. So I'm signed in as a user Amit Gupta, who is a manager, who is a marketing manager in this organization. He goes to a group and tries to add a person as guest. And when he clicks on save button, this guest is being created in Azure Active Directory, which will sync to Exchange. So as you can see, he was able to successfully add this guest to the group, and this guest will start receiving all the email conversation and other resources from the group. Now let's go to a user who is not a manager in the organization. For example, Ellie right here is an assistant. She tries to add a guest in her group. She tries to invite a new guest, and let's see what happened. And she gets an error that you don't have permission to invite new guests in the organization, which is what should happen. So going back to the presentation, so this policy is available as part of Office 365 license, and you can use AAD PowerShell to configure this. So let's move on to the next one. The next one which I want to talk about is to control who can be invited. So a lot of times, like organizations have many partners, and they don't want their users to be collaborating with anyone but their partners. So what you can do is you can define a list of allowed domains, which would be your partner organization domains, and set them as allowed list policy. And only users from those domains will be able to be added as guests in your tenant. Similarly, you can do the same with block list. You can specify a list of domains which you don't want people to be adding guests as. So we have already published a script which is the allow deny policy.ps1, which is a Microsoft signed version of the script, and it is available to download on TechNet. And with this script, with a single line of PowerShell commandlet, you can configure this policy. For example, you can set allow list, block list. You can even migrate your existing SharePoint allow block list using this script. So once you, for example, here we are adding gmail.com and contoso.com as the allowed domain list in this tenant. So I have already configured in the demo tenant. Let's see how end user will see it. So I go to the Amit Gupta account again, and he tries to add a user from some other domain other than gmail.com or contoso.com, for example yahoo.com. Let's see what happens. He tries to add someone who is not from the allowed domains, and he gets this error saying that your organization does not allow guests from the domain you listed. So even though he was in a guest inviter role, he won't be able to add guests from the domain which is not listed as allowed list. So this policy is still in public preview for GA, and it would be available as part of AAD premium license. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is the group level policy. So we totally understand that in your organization, you will have some groups which are highly confidential, and you don't want anyone to be adding guests in those groups. So you can configure this policy at group level by simply creating Azure AD directory setting template and assigning allowed to add guest value as false. And once you do that, you assign that setting object to the target group using the new Azure AD object setting commandlet. So all this information is available on the TechNet article, and you can easily configure group level allowed to add guest setting. So for the demo, we already have a group in our demo tenant where users are not allowed to add guests. And this group is FR Cloud Summit. And I don't want anyone to be adding guests in this group. So Amit goes and he doesn't know about the policy, and he tries to add a guest in this group. And it can be a guest from an accepted domain, but still he'll get this error that you cannot add guests to this group because it is disabled on group level. So you can see like power of all these policies. You can use combination of all these policies to configure, to control guest access in your organization based on your needs. So now I would also like to tell you about something called label-based classification, which we are working on right now, where all the groups which you create will get some label, and based on these labels, some of these policies will be pre-configured. For example, if a group is highly classified, we would disable guest access by default in those groups. So to know more about this, please attend a session on Friday morning with Metli. She's right here. All right, so I would like to call Sahil now to talk more about advanced policies which we have.
Thanks, Monica, for these amazing demos. They were really, very cool. So I'm quickly going to talk about guest advanced policies. The reason that they are called advanced policies because they are part of AAD premium license. And there's a deep dive session that will happen on Thursday. I would highly recommend audience who is interested to attend that session. The first one I'm going to talk about is guest expiry. So typically in an organization, when a guest user is added for a limited time period and for a designated task. One of the big concerns that IT admin has that what would happen to these guest users once their designated task is done. With this policy, you can actually set up a timeline which would require group's owner to review these guest users membership. They can choose to, they'll receive an email, and then they can choose to extend this guest membership. They can deny it, and they can even choose not to take an action. So in both of these last scenarios, the guest will automatically be removed out of the group, and then it can be later cleaned from AAD directory. The second one I'm going to talk about is audit logs. Today, every guest action, including invite, guest user accessing any resource, it's all tracked at Azure B2B level, and you can access these logs at Azure portal, which is portal.azure.com. And you can even make custom rules on top of it, such as that if this user signs in more than 10 times in a day, then just block this user. And also this data is available through third-party APIs. So if you want to make a custom dashboard for your organization, you can even do that. So I would highly recommend for people who are interested to attend this session on Thursday. That'll give you a deep dive of both of these features. Since now we are end of this session. I would like to call few things. The first one is that try out Guest Access in your organization. There are many organizations using it and they are making most out of their Office 365 license. Feel free to reach out to us during Ignite, even after Ignite. We'll be more than happy to onboard you. You saw our email addresses. You can shoot us email at any point of time. Come to Office 365 Move, attend these groups and Office 365 guest access sessions. It'll be really very helpful for you.
Another thing which I would like to add here is that change is inevitable, and today collaboration space is changing. It is becoming more open, and we are here to help you embrace this change. So if you have any concerns, any feedback about this feature, please let us know. Do email to us or come to our booth for any questions that you have. We would be happy to help you.
Yeah, so we even have our business cards. You can take that if you want to get in touch. So
Thank you all.
Thank you all. That's what I. Thank you.